Hi, and welcome to Level Design with Zen, where we talk about level design whether from my own projects or from other games. And today we're going to be talking about a map that I made for the Awesome Mapping Contest, which was announced first on September 14th of 2018 under the UT99.org. This particular contest asked for no theme, just make it awesome, as you can read right here. They didn't limit the game type of the map, they only limit the size. Any package that you use has to be within the map pack. The image preview screenshot is mandatory, and the mapping contest badge must be included somewhere visible in the map or in a preview screenshot. There was a prize, which frankly I don't care about. It is good, and you had lots and lots of people participating this year. So it was about a month and 10 days. Okay, so what happened is, just like last year, I wanted to be in this contest as well, but I had a work-related project that didn't give me enough time to be able to do this. And I actually read wrong the date of the project, of the end line, and I got to December the 1st thinking that I failed completely the deadline, and the contest was gone, just gone. But on the 4th day, I came here to check back how things were, and I realized that I still had about a week, 6 days of work. So I immediately busted my ass starting work on this again. So on total, I only had a week of work. For this contest, I want to get out of my comfort zone. Regarding level design, what I like is single player maps. But if I am serious about this hobby, this passion, I need to be able to do just any kind of map. So I've been challenging myself within these contests to do the typical game type maps, not just the single player ones. For this one, I decided to do a capture the flag, and I was gonna name it AMC for Awesome Mapping Contest, CTF under, which ultimately failed. So how did this map start? It started with me on the 11th of November working on this particular design, which is on my post at UT forum. Here I tried to show just how pretty I wanted to make it, like having a really good aesthetic, and mixing it with some greens on the map, like bushes and trees, which is not usual, but it shows like it's a really wealthy and architectural aesthetic place. And then just completely bash it and vandalize it with whatever gear is necessary to make an Unreal Tournament match happening. And on the next day, I made an alpha version. So as you can see on this alpha version, there's a temporary skybox there, which doesn't really work, but it's just there to show how the environment is going to look like outside. And you've got the towers, the basic geometry between them. This is really the baby steps of the map. I'm going to show you within the editor how it looks like. Okay, so this is the alpha version of the map. As you can see here, we've got two towers, just as I showed you on my post. And inside, you've got a nice little room which has an elevator. This is where from people get on this level, and all the way up to the CEO's office. Like, this guy is really really rich guy that wants to show just how fucking awesome he is. And this is where I intended to put the flag. In this room that wasn't still quite built yet, but it was here. And on the next segment, this was intended to have glasses, windows that you could break. Never happened, never managed to happen. And once you get here, there's a nice little aesthetic with glass, which isn't really here yet, and an elevator, which is used to get to the upper floors and below. None of this is really built as of this alpha version was made, but the intent was there. And you can see here on the side view just how it looks like. Now, moving up to the 4th of December, which is really when I came back to working on this map. You can see how I started working on the dimensions of things, like the scaling, how things should look like, how they should feel. And as the days progressed, I actually ended up with, let me see, and this is how I ended up with this map. You can see the contest logo here on each tower. You can see there's like multiple paths here, like the windows are broken, bashed. You've got some nice laser bridges going from one building to the other, creating lots and lots of options for the players to get and reach the other flag. There's a little bit more aesthetic here done. You've got like laser protection barriers on instead of the windows, so that, you know, there's shooting going around, so it makes sense. A little aesthetic room with the flag. Some more floors, all of them with stairs because the elevator idea didn't work actually well. I mean, there's a limit how much realistic you can make a map and still make it functional for a certain game type. That's basically what happened here. Another change that I made was I didn't quite like the idea that the buildings were different. It really broke the flow of the gameplay. Like, one team was seriously crippled regarding attacking and defense, while the other had the upper hand. So this had to change. There needs to be a compromise between realism and function within the level. So instead I try to make the buildings different. Like this one has some glowing red antennas on top, which also work as an aesthetic feature, as well as making change. There's a well-defined color difference between the two bases, the blue and the red one, which you can see here. And all I need to show you now is how the map works and feels like within the game itself. Okay, so we got the pickup set up. You got this straightforward path, but you also got the laser breach up there. Now, you can come here and simply take the flag, but the enemy team won't be happy with it and they will punch you teeth to defend it. You also got this protection over here. So although it's a straight up path, it's gonna be the hardest path because the other team can really defend it well with their flag. Then you got the optional path regarding the architecture itself of the building, which has a higher power up. And you can see how pretty the map is while working on here. Now the bath padding is somewhat well done, but the thing is, I just didn't have enough time to make it work. So, as as I was working on this map, I was also working on an old map that I had to make it as a bonus content to deliver. What actually ended up happening was me completely scrapping my work here because I didn't like what I was making and just focusing on the other level that I had. So I finished up under, leaving it just as it is, like this. It works, it's playable, people have enjoyed it because I have released it as such. This was the alpha version of under. But it's still missing a lot, and I didn't like my work here. So, as I was saying, I started working on Miestas, which was another project I was making. And what I thought was, okay, so this contest is about making an awesome map. Under does not look like an awesome map, just like a regular map. But the other map I'm working on, it does look like a little bit of awesome. Shame that I didn't have enough time. I failed completely delivering under because I didn't finish the time. This was one of the things that worked against me. But there's potential on Miestas. So this is the last update of Miestas. It was on 14th of, what is the third month? So it was on 14th of March of 2018. It was almost on the beginning of the year. And I was showing off how things were looking like regarding the buildings, the lighting. Like I already had like a sun, which wasn't there before. I was working on some more playable areas, how things were generally looking like, and that the shadows were correspondent of the lighting, the general lighting. And I showed a little bit off with my cool lighting effects. Okay, so this is how Miestas look like. Okay, so what I did next was continue the work that needed to be done on Miestas. Miestas was a deathmatch map, which means it's a little bit different from a capture the flag one. And here I needed to put, and the next step was putting the items. So here's an item layout sheet that I made. I wanted to make something that was technical but still understandable. Like, okay, so you've got lots of symbols here, but what do they mean? So we've got, let me just color them. So you got player starts. This is not the brush. This is too big of a brush. So you've got player starts, weapon placement, ammo placement, health, item placement, armor. It was supposed to be an elevator which didn't make it to the final design. And there was supposed to be 6 jumpers, which were supposed to make the map more fast-paced. So where are the player starts? Okay, so these are the player starts laid out on a map. As you can see, I just started with something, the basic, the map of what the level looks like, and one by one I started adding all of these items. These are the player starts, for example. Okay, and here we've got the weapons. So as you can see here, if you follow the symbols and their placement, you can actually know what's going on this map. It seems confusing, but it works. Oh, I missed one here. So this was a tool that I actually liked it. I'm gonna use this definitely on more maps that I'm gonna make, and there's no need for me to go on with all of this. So I did the weapon layout, the item layout, everything. So what followed next was me continuing the developing of the playable area. So I kept adding things like obstacles, weapons, tweaking them, making things working out. I did some sound design here. Things sound different depending on the area of the map you are. And this is the result of the Miestas. Make it here. So there is going to be a video specifically talking me through how this map went from design to finish, but this basically is how it's summed up. I wanted to make global lighting, work on Unreal, and do a lighting effect of refraction to make things more immersive and realistic. And I managed to do it just fine. I mean, it needs tweaks, but it works. Like on this room, you can see that there's an intense sunbeam coming in, and there's some light scattered around. This is my favorite part of the level. It was really fun making this, and there's a good architecture here. So again, I wanted to go with the approach of making something realistic, repurposed for a multiplayer map, a tournament per se. So these are the best parts of Miestas. There's a warehouse with strong, intense sunbeams going around here. There's some nice metal structure up there. There's a platform. There's boxes everywhere. There's an outside area. Building. And there's the whole playable area. Okay, so you can see this is a complex with many different building types. So what's the deal with Miestas? Oh, you can see here the badge of the map. So I failed making Under for the deadline, but I still kept making this map to deliver it as a bonus content of the map pack, of the final map pack, which is still waiting release, and it will contain this. As of now, you can download it. I'm gonna put the link on the description. It's on the UT99 forum under its own post. Okay, so what's the architecture of Miestas? It's an industrial, realistic 20th century architecture. Like, you've got this commercial industrial complex here with the warehouse and this nice little studio room with boxes and sunlight here. And if you go outside, you have a residential building. So this is an urban environment, which is where the name comes from, Miestas, which someone at UT99 gave it to me. Okay, so the map name came from UnrealGecko, and he gave me Lithuanian names. Miestas is city, for example. So it's damn city in Lithuanian. So it makes sense that you've got a residential building, you've got like an office here going on with some pretty windows and a roundabout area, garden, and some office, which you can come down here on the basement and shoot your guys. So this is the architecture type of Miestas. You've got intense sun with the intense sunlight around the map, and the gameplay. Regarding the gameplay, let's start kicking ass. So as you can see here, there's an intense fighting going on around here. You see, I just killed a guy and there's someone already spawning again. It's really dynamic. Like, if you start playing this map, it's gonna be an enjoyable experience. You're not gonna have a dull moment going on. See, I'm covering up the main areas where you're gonna play. Now this particular room, I didn't have enough time to finish enough for the map pack to give it like more broken up aspect of the textures. It feels like a little bit vanilla, freshly made, which isn't supposed to, because you can see there's like broken stone around. Okay, you can see the plots are really set up on being dumb because he didn't kill me straight away. Okay, what's going on there? you know, I just got ammo for this. Okay, I'm just gonna show you the warehouse coming from this side. If I don't die immediately on the process. Okay, so this is how the general gameplay of the map feels like. There's a nice looking aesthetic to it, nice lighting, but sure as hell misses something on the skyline, on the skybox. You got the sun, the shadows work perfectly fine with that, which is good. You don't see that much on Unreal, that was my purpose. Here, it's a little bit artificial, but it works. There's the shadows there. And I'm just gonna show you inside. So here we got the intense sunlight coming through the roof of the warehouse, and how the light touches the wood, how it touches the box and refracts a little bit of yellow. If I wasn't getting shot at, you could see better, as you can now. There isn't much gameplay on Z-axis, it's basically leveled floor. And basically this is it. So let's finish this. Which brings us to the final part of this video, which is, okay, so what are the flaws of my map? So it doesn't have enough Z-axis action. Like, you've got this platform over here that is completely wasted. Now I intended to make use of it, but I didn't have enough time. And instead of making a broken map, I wanted to make a bad but finished playable map. That was my intention. It doesn't have Z-axis. There's flaws regarding textures, particularly in this room. Got broken floor, broken steering going on, but no scratched surfaces, nothing, no damage at all here. You just got gray, green, red painting, some tiles here with no damage at all. This is a flaw. You've got no skybox whatsoever, just blue sky and the sun. And also, yeah, this is a really big flaw. Like on paper that worked really well. It really helped me because I was stumbling on it. It was an obstacle. But in reality, it makes no sense that the flak gun is just lying there in the middle of the room. Like, you go a little further, there's the armor. This is a little bit symmetric on the middle of everything, so it doesn't jump out as weird. Here, just lying there in the middle of the room. Weird, doesn't work. Health. Next to the wall, okay, weapon. Middle of the outside. No sense whatsoever. Got lots of area here, and a little bit health there, which isn't even properly placed, it's just random placed. You come inside the warehouse, same thing. Armor laying on the middle. Health laying next to the door. This is it's enough. Here, it's well placed. This is random, and this is random as well. It doesn't even match the weapon. You go here, random, random, random. It makes no sense. It could be a lot better. You can climb over here and jump there. There's a little bit Z-axis action, but that's just it. It could be a lot better. So the lighting is good, architecture is good. It presents itself as an awesome experience, but it's unfinished. It doesn't feel right. Okay, so what did this experience taught me? I have learned what are the priorities of making a map. There's a need for architecture and aesthetic, but there's a bigger need for gameplay. A map needs to be enjoyable. It needs to deliver. If it's not enjoyable, it doesn't matter if it looks good. And this is something I've learned with Under. I wanted to make something good looking, but it just didn't work out. So I had to adapt and finish. I completely stopped working on that map because of it. I've also learned that I can do a lot in just a week of work. Okay, now the final map that I presented wasn't actually just a week of work, but the final touches of it were in just a week. I did a lot. I made an actual functioning capture the flag map, and I never did one. So that's pretty good. So what's the final lesson on this project, on the work that I had, is don't give up. Work on the design and concept dynamic, and think about what your map intends to deliver. Do you want to deliver a good gameplay experience? Do you want to deliver a good aesthetic experience? Then focus on it. Make it work. If you focus on it and make it work, it's gonna happen.